Okay, so over the past today inclusive 5 days, we have been looking at quantitative data analysis. So we went through how you would prepare your questionnaire, because the quantitative process starts with getting your questionnaire out of your objectives. After getting your questionnaires, then you move on to the field to collect data. After collecting the data from the field, then you move on to code your data on SPSS. After coding the data on SPSS, then you enter the actual response into the SPSS. After entering, then you have to do what is called preliminary analysis. Then the preliminary analysis entails looking out for missing data, looking out for inconsistencies in your data, looking for your reliability in the questions that is measured on skills, taking out all outliers, cleaning up the data to ensure that the data is of good quality, to ensure that your analysis is of good quality, and also looking at ways and means of selecting the right statistic. And with that, I said that the right statistic will depend on the kind of questions and objectives that you have set. And this particular seminar or webinar has focused on the parametric statistical analytical tools that we have in quantitative data analysis. And then I also said that in quantitative data analysis, we have two main types of analysis. That is analysis that looks at exploring relationships, and then analysis that looks at comparing mean differences. With the analysis that looks at mean analysis, we have independent t-tests, we have ANOVA, and we also have MANOVA. With the statistics that looks at exploring relationships, we have correlation, we have linear regression, we have multiple regression, and then we also look at the hierarchical multiple regression. And with the mean, the one that looks at the mean, we said that before you can do an independent t-test, you need a categorical independent variable that has two groups, and you measure it on a dependent variable that is continuous. I also made mention that if you want to do ANOVA, you need a categorical independent variable that has more than two groups. So a categorical independent variable that has more than two groups, and it's measured on a dependent variable, which is a continuous dependent variable. And when you want to look at MANOVA, for MANOVA, you need a continuous dependent variable that is more than one. So you need more than one continuous dependent variable, and you measure it, okay, the other way around. You need a categorical independent variable that has either two or more groups, and you measure it on a dependent variable that has more, okay, you measure it on more than one dependent variable. Then when you move on to the statistics that explore relationship, that one, correlation, with correlation, that one you need two continuous variables. So when you're exploring relationships, you need variables that are continuous. And with mean differences, you need a categorical and then a continuous variables. But with relationship, you need variables that are continuous. So correlation, you look at only variables that are continuous, and then it's two. So with correlation, what you are doing is you are looking at, you want to know if a relationship exists between the two continuous variables that you are looking at. And the next thing you can also look at is linear regression. With linear regression, that one, you need a dependent and then independent variable, but it should be on a continuous variable. It should be on a continuous variable. So with that one, you look at the relationship and then look at how whether the independent variable is able to predict the dependent variable. But the next thing is the multiple regression. So with multiple regression, you look at more than two continuous variables, as the name suggests. You look at more than two continuous variables. Then we also looked at hierarchical multiple regression, where we looked at values. We control certain variables to run the analysis. Okay, so today we are going to see how we represent the output tables on our write-up. So we want to see how the output tables are represented on the write-up. So today I'm going to teach the information that is needed on the write-up. So let's say when you take demographics, I'll run the demographics and then let you know the things that are needed out of the output table that you generate. So I'll do that for demographics. I'll do that for descriptives. I'll do that for independent t-tests. I'll do that for ANOVA. I'll do that for regression, and I'll also do that for correlation. And then also teach you how you are going to interpret the output tables. So I'm going to begin by sharing my screen. Okay. So this is the fifth session of our webinar. And today we are going to look at working with APA tables. So as I said previously, the output tables that are generated when you run the analysis, you don't put those tables into the write-up. You transform those tables into APA, and then you take out certain informations. So that is what we are going to look out. That is what we are going to do today. We are going to see the informations that are needed in our write-up. Okay, this will be the outline for today's. This will be the outline for today's session. This will be the outline for today's session. So we are going to look at introduction, demographic tables, descriptive tables, independent t-tests, ANOVA tables, correlation tables, and then regression tables. Okay. So as I said, the tables we are going to generate are going to be APA, because in Ghana here, most universities require that we write in APA. So apart from doing writing in APA, we also have to convert our tables to APA. So everything we are going to do will be in APA. So writing in APA, tables in APA, references in APA. So we are going to convert the output tables into APA. And the APA stands for American Psychological Association. So it is one of the standardized styles of referencing and then scientific evidence presentation. And these are some of the things that are, or let's say these are some of the rules that has to be on the tables that you are going to generate. So the tables will vary in sizes and structure depending on the data you are presenting on the table. And APA gives us a general guideline for how we should design the table. So for us to correctly format an APA table, we must make sure that the following things are adhered to. The following things are adhered to. So the first thing is that the table number must be written bold above the table. Another thing too is that the table has to have a brief title and it should be in italics and then title case below the table number. And then we also have to note that in the APA tables, there should be no vertical lines. There should be no vertical lines. All the lines must be horizontal, and then it is stationed at specific places. When we start developing the tables, you see how it is done. And then also you have to make sure that there is clear, concise labels for columns and then row headings. And then numbers consistent, we have to make sure that the numbers are consistently formatted. So if we are dealing with 2 decimal places, we have to make sure that all the numbers that we are dealing with are in 2 decimal places. And then if you need to bring any relevant footnotes, you provide that below the table. Okay, so the first table we are going to look at is our demographic characteristics. So anytime you take any research paper and you look at the findings section, you realize that they would bring the demographic characteristics. So we are going to see how we present the demographic characteristics in our write-up using the APA style. Okay, so all information on the demographic characteristics of participants should be put into one table. So let's say we are looking at different demographic characteristics. But when you want to do the write-up, you don't put all, like you don't bring the individual tables into your write-up. What you have to do is you have to put all the information on just one table. On just one table. So these are the items that are needed on the APA table. So on the APA table for demographic characteristics, these are the things that are supposed to be there. So we have to bring the characteristics, the categories, the frequencies, and the percentages. So these are the 4 things that are needed on your demographic characteristics. These are the 4 things that are needed on your demographic characteristics. So I'm going to do a practical for us to see how it's going to be done. So we're going to do that in Word. So we are going to, let's go to Word, a Word document. Okay, so I'm sharing mine. So the first thing is I'm going to run the SPSS. Then we copy the output table, and then we see how we are going to put these 4 things I have said into our write-up. So first of all, let's go to SPSS. Let's go to SPSS. So if you remember, I said that with demographic information, we run demographic information on categorical variables. We run demographic information on categorical variables. So just as you have been doing every day, we go to analyze, then we go to descriptive statistics, then we move to frequencies. So I'm going to run the categorical variables. I'm going to run the categorical variables. So in this particular research, the categorical variables are sex, age, marital, years in Accra, education, years as a member, as members, and then current participation. So with the frequencies, you just put your categorical variables into the variable box, and then you press on OK. So when you press on OK, an output table comes. So I'm going to use the output tables to generate an APA table and then put the information that is needed into the table. So let me share the output table, copy the output table into Word, and then you see how we are going to go about it. So when you run the analysis, it's going to give you separate tables for all the categorical variables that you are looking at. It's going to give you separate tables, but you cannot put these tables in this form into our SPSS, into our write-up. So we'll put all together and then put it into our write-up. So let's see how it is done. So I'll copy the tables. Copy the tables. Control copy. And then send it to Word. So this is my Word document. So very soon the Zoom will go off. So when it goes off, we'll just log in back using the link. So let me write, let's say just hello here, so that the app will be free for me. So I'll just paste the tables, all the tables here. So I'll paste all the tables here. Now we are going to convert these tables into APU. We're going to convert these tables into APU. So remember I said for this table, there are certain things that there are certain things, or there are certain, should I say, levels or items. So say there are certain items that must show in this table. So I just go to insert, then table. So I said for the demographics, we need the characteristics, we need the categories, we need the frequency, and then we also need the percentages. So these are the 4 things that we need. So let me write here characteristics. Then here the categories. Then here frequencies. Then the last one is the percentages. percentages. Okay. Okay. So the categories. So this is how we are going to copy it. To make sure we don't make any mistake, let's copy it as it is here. So these are the things that we need. We need the male, female, and then the percentages. We don't need the totals. So we are just going to paste. So let's paste it here. So the first category is sex. So let's write sex here. So the characteristic is sex. And then the category is male and female. So we need male and female. And then we need their frequency and then their percentage. So we copy it here. Then we paste it here. Now, so we are done with this table. So this table can go up. So you just highlight the table. Then you clear this table off. Now, the next characteristic we are going to look at is their age. So age, then we copy the 8 categories. So the 8 categories are 18 to 38, and then 39 to 54 years. So we copy the 8 categories, their percentages, and then their frequency. So we come here, we paste it here. So we are done with the age too. So we'll clear the age. The next category we want to look at is the marital status. So marital status. Marital status. So the marital status, the categories are single, married, widow, and then separated. So single, so we copy the categories with their frequencies and then their percentages. We come here, we paste. So we are done with marital. So we highlight the table and then we clear it off. Okay. So the next thing is years in Accra. The next characteristic is years in Accra. So years in Accra. So the years in Accra, we look at the categories. The categories is below 5 years and then 5 years and above. So we copy their frequencies and their percentages and we paste it here. So the Accra is also years in Accra. You can take that table also off. Okay, so the next characteristic is education. So let's put education here. Education. So let's copy the categories. The categories are no formal education, basic stroke secondary, diploma, degree, and then master's degree. So we copy it with their frequencies and then percentages. It is not everything that we need on the table. So we are picking only the specific things that we need on the table. So I'll come here, I'll paste it here. So now we are done with education. So we have to take the education table off. Okay, so the next thing is years as a member. So years as a member. So that one too, we copy the categories with their frequencies and percentages. So we copy it and then we paste it here. Okay. So we are done with this one. So we can take it off. The next thing is their current participations. So this one is just what we are using. So you have to apply this to your research. So the next thing is current participation. So current participation. So we copy the categories with their frequencies and their percentages. And we paste it here. Okay, so now we are done with the demographic information. So all the individual items or the individual output that came. Now, this is how we have grouped all together. This is how we have grouped all together. But we don't have to present the tables this way. So we are now come to convert this table to APA table. So this is how it is done. So I'll highlight this table, then I'll highlight this table and click on this. So you go to home and look for this section here. So this is where we edit the table. So I'll come here. So first of all, I have to highlight the table. So the table has been highlighted. I'll come here and I'll go to no borders. So the no borders removes all the lines, both the horizontal and then the vertical lines from the table. And I'll come back here and then click on bottom border. So we are converting this table into APA. So you click on bottom border, then you go here, you also click on